Well, after what I had just had to go through just to upload one video, an issue that I've ran into before, and that I fixed before when I felt like it. Before, I just went ahead and let it take 500 minutes to upload. Probably took me about the same amount of time to fix the problem that would have taken to upload a video. Doing that puts you in violation of an executive presidential order. Or is it called a presidential executive order? Here, I'll let you have the audio. How's that sound? That way I don't have to do a whole screen capture presentation.
This report I received today is a monumental project. In more ways than one. But it is a very, very important piece of America's history, and it will shape America's future in ways that will make us a more honorable, more successful, and more ethical country. What this committee learned, I would like to review today with a little more detail than Dr. Faden said.
So you see a presidential order to investigate these things, all this other stuff, given in 1995, which reaffirmed prior presidential executive orders, whatever, however you want to call them. And part of the problem we ran into was somehow somebody, I guess they switched a name somewhere of who was looking into what or gathering what information, who had been gathering that information, well, now for 4 fucking decades. So if you're jamming me up and you aren't helping me, then you're against me. I hate putting it that way, but if you're not with me, you're against the entire human race. Ah, man, that makes my nose itch. Now, I finally uploaded this video today that I did earlier today. And in that, I showed you these implants. Now, this is an example of them coming out. And I showed you also President Clinton's implant coming out of his forehead. So, do you understand what's taking place? Do you know why President Clinton and Carter flew on the same plane together while Hillary and Barack and everybody else was on the other plane? Maybe because Clinton and Carter had to speak about something that only they knew, that the others didn't know, because they weren't there during the Carter administration. They weren't there during the Clinton administration. Do you see these time frames? 1978, I've mentioned all this before. So, even though somehow they managed to get some other motherfucker to portray himself, or a group of motherfuckers, excuse my language, to portray themselves as me, and to convey information using my name, whatever. I don't know how they did it. I'm not the one that did it. Go ask them. I'm doing my job. If you want to call it a job. I guess now it is becoming a job, huh? So how come I don't get paid for this? I hope President Clinton's aware of where this bioethics commission information came from, what was done to people to get it, and why they did to me what they did. So you see the big mess involved here? So when little fucking whatevers want to participate because they feel they have the right to, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your people. Whether it's a tribe, whether it's an American, whether it's somebody sitting on a mountain in China. This is the kind of work that my spiritual path allows me to do. One of the few fields within secret fuckwad shit that I could probably work in without any conflicts of interest. And that's part of my gift, is I look for the conflicts of interest. I look for the things that are going to blow up in your fucking face or your neighbor's face. So get the fuck out of my way. You're either with me or you're against me, and if you're against me, you're against the entire human race. Plus a few other creatures, and maybe some star people out there too. So let's listen to what Clinton has to say back in 1995. Sorry you have to look at my ugly face. I forgot to put another camera in and then put that up on that screen so I could do it that way instead of the screen capture. I don't know. I think they got it and they were fooling around. Anyway, I'm not going to go into how they did it because I really don't give a fuck. They know what they did. Oh man, I'm not going to explain everything.
Because I think it must be engraved on our national memory. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body. While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. So today, on behalf of another generation of American leaders and another generation of American citizens, the United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities. When the government does wrong, we have a moral responsibility to admit it. The duty we owe to one another to tell the truth and to protect our fellow citizens from excesses like these is one we can never walk away from. Our government failed in that duty, and it offers an apology to the survivors and their families, and to all the American people who must be able to rely upon the United States to keep its word, to tell the truth, and to do the right thing. Make no mistake, as the committee report says, there are circumstances where compensation is appropriate as a matter of ethics and principle. I am committed to seeing to it that the United States of America lives up to its responsibility. Our greatness is measured not only in how we so frequently do right, but also how we act when we know we've done the wrong thing, how we confront our mistakes, make our apologies, and take action. That's why this morning I signed an executive order instructing every arm and agency of our government that conducts, supports, or regulates research involving human beings to review immediately their procedures in light of the recommendations of this report and the best knowledge and standards. This morning I signed an executive order instructing every arm and agency of our government that conducts, supports, or regulates research involving human beings. This morning I signed an executive order instructing every arm and agency of our government. This morning I signed an executive order instructing every arm and agency of our government that conducts, supports, or regulates research involving human beings to review immediately their procedures in light of the recommendations of this report and the best knowledge and standards available today, and to report back to me by Christmas.
So, I would have to say there's a pretty big cover-up involving some of these people. And I would have to say they've involved other people. And I would also have to say that the level of crimes involved here, some of them do probably call for execution. So I guess that would make it understandable why they would refuse to just capitulate and help repair all this, huh? They were offered certain stuff 10 years ago, 5 years ago, hell, 6 months ago, and they didn't come forward. They made the wrong choice, or they came forward to the wrong person. Like I said, certain things seem to have been hijacked, and I seem to be one of the few people that has the integrity to not look the other way. So if you want to get in my way, realize that whether it's a human force or a force of nature or God that slaps you, don't cry about it afterwards. Just realize if you're still alive, maybe there's a reason and you are given another opportunity to correct a few things.